So someone's coming to see the CB200 any moment actually, which is cool. Now I'm here with the old Bonnie feel. You guys have been following me for a long time. You know I am shocking with older bikes, really shocking. And I wonder if new bikes, I don't know if they're literally easier or if they need less tolerances in everything or what, but new bikes I seem to get on with, and old bikes I don't. Although I've got the two air filters for that, and I go back to thinking that if I restrict enough air, idle will become normal again, and then we could run it in, actually insure it and run it in and get them new piston rings in and bedded. To this, right, what's the issue with this? The last I had this, it ran beautifully. That was before, that was when I converted the head to a TR6 single carb. But again, I could not balance two carbs. I couldn't get it to work. It drove me nuts. So I thought that was such a brilliant solution, and I loved the way it I loved the way it felt when it was eventually good with the single carb. It felt better. It felt torquier. And then this is what happened. It was fine for months. And then I took these rear panels off, because ultimately we were converting this to the rounder panels, which you can do. But that bloody ignition switch was the issue. So what happened was every wire fell off. And then I had to kind of work it all out, how to get it all back. And, you know, I've had many attempts at this. Now I think this wire here is separate. This white one from the back comes from like the rear lights or something. So I think, my guess is there's no concern with that at the moment. I think that's just rear lighting. I think, I could be wrong. And then what I didn't realise, which is really stupid of me, is that the colours have changed. So yes, there's a white, there's two whites into one, which may or may not be right. I didn't do it, it came like this. And then there's this brown and with a blue stripe and brown with a green stripe. They've also been put into one. So I've got the book here with me somewhere. So I'm gonna try and see what the book shows with that. I think it's the correct 63 to 83 perfect with 73 oil in frame here. So I'm gonna try and work this out, see if we can get the ignition back to how it should be, because this was running so well. Last time I ran this, it felt like it was running on one side again. And I checked everything. I checked it all again. All of the spark plugs and stuff and the caps and everything else, and that was all fine. So I thought there's still an issue with the ignition there. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board, back to the colour codes. Let's see what we can set up. My guess is this is an aftermarket switch some years later. Not that it's a huge issue, but I don't know what goes where. I'd really like to fire this thing up and have it running well, actually, like it was. So forget the weird looking glove, that's just to stop it arcing. I found the wiring diagram online. Now it doesn't have white wires, but it has greys, and they were only indicator circuits. That wire, I think, doesn't matter. I'm just going to check where that goes, but I think that was just a separate rear light. It is. I have found the diagram that shows the blue and brown and the green and brown, and they are separate. There's one there and one here. So this could technically be set up as it should be, ready to fire. I might give it a few kicks. It'll probably drive me nuts, but we'll see. I'm not even going to film it unless it fires up. I've filmed for 10-15 minutes in the past, and it didn't fire, and I just look like an idiot. So wrapping up for the day. Honda guy didn't turn up. Thanks for that, mate. Someone come to see the keyway. That's good. He might like the keyway. When people come and see something, at least they're serious. Otherwise, I can't get much done this week. I'm busy. But next week, I'm free. Gary's back. We'll be back on top of the garage. I'm actually potentially collecting a new project today as well.
2,000 years later.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Apologies, not much out recently. It's been a busy few weeks for me. I'm still hacking away at my level 2 electrician course, which I'm passing at the moment. Very good, very lucky. I would say that I'm not very skillful at learning, but I am learning, so that's good. Bits and pieces. MOT day, I've got the fan now, it's booked and it's ready. Last week I was let down last minute by it. It's here. I'm just warming the bike up. I just think when they go to start it up, it just needs to start up a bit easier for them and stuff like that. It doesn't mean it's an issue starting for me, but before I sell this, it's going to have a new battery, because at the moment the battery's a bit weak. I did completely forget to order a new one. I was meant to. So next week I'll have a new battery. I've also got some dressing for here, and one that may or may not fit here. I think they gave me the wrong size. So they're going to send a new one for there. So bits of cleaning. But let's get it through an MOT first. I think that's key. Everything MOT wise works. Steering left to right is good. Shocks are good. Suspension, brake lights, this, that, blah blah blah. All of that is actually fine and working. So no issues there. Tyres are good and pumped. Let me double check that. Yep. Seats are secured down. I might put a touch of air in the back. Seats are secure, they have to be secure, locked down. Side panels are secure. Brakes are good, plenty brake pads. I've ordered a baffle for the exhaust, but it's running, it's a bit late. I don't think they'll fail it on that, my guys. But if they do, I'll tell them I've got a baffle coming. Normally they're okay with that, Then later, if it passes, if I've got the time, I'm going to do an oil drop and change and just top up the coolant. And that's it. Just make sure all of that servicing is done. And yeah, and then that's it. It will be up and ready for sale next weekend. When a new battery's here and there's the couple of extra bits and pieces. So good. As always, nerve-wracking time waiting for MOT. They might see something you didn't spot. And when you dip in and out of projects, so I come back every weekend to a project. When I come back on a Saturday morning for MOT, I'm always a bit frazzled. I'm up, I'm out, and I'm like, shit, have I missed anything? Decibel killer, the baffle is the only thing I can think of, but I'm up. They've said to me in the past, we pass Harley, so it would be unfair. Although I have got one in the post. Let's see. So all good from the MOT. One advisory on the rear tyre, it just says it's getting low. I don't think it's that low, but I'm going to consider switching over to the other one anyway, because it's a thicker tyre with more tread. I may as well do this bike to the best of its ability, I think, at this stage. I mean, it's not going to be a pretty bike at any stage. What I'll do is today I'll drop the oil, I'll change the oil, and I'll give it a good test run up and down now that it's kind of safe and MOT'd. And I'll do any tweaks and changes from here. Everything's running. I've got some fuel in there. What I want to do is give it a run now. I haven't actually given it a good run since the day I got it, but I do remember thinking it felt fine. So I do want to give it a good run, up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm not going to film it, there's no point. So that I'm definitely sure that it's good. And then I'm going to drop the oil, change the oil, and for today, yeah, oil drop is the main thing, and oil change. Rear tyre I'm probably going to do later or next week. Actually, I'll try and do it today or tomorrow. And then, yeah. So, quick spin. Okay, a couple of issues on the shake-up run there. Speedo's not registering. Cables, I'm sure the cable's fine, because it was spinning last week, although it was spinning when I moved backwards, wasn't it? So maybe there's an issue there. This clutch lever is bent, I forgot about that. It probably needs a whole new one. I think I've got one somewhere, or I may have to switch on some other ones. Then the gear change is a bit stiff. I probably just need to get in here and grease it all up so that it's snapping back. Nothing shocking, just annoying more than anything. Engine is so good, engine is strong. Pulls strong, rides well, engine feels great. I'm still going to drop the oil because it needs that. So and the indicators have a wiring fault now. So look, they're kind of on. Now that's happened after MOT, so they still slightly engage, which is really weird. But obviously some wires have crossed over there. So are the rears doing what they need to be doing? Yeah, we've had some sort of wiring cross there, so that's fine. It's all a little bit shabby. I need to get back in there. I don't quite like these ones. I think I've got some spares. I might put them on. These are quite neat, but yeah, I'm not sure. So bits and pieces. So we're not registering speed. Indicators need looking at again. That'll be quite straightforward, I'm sure. Definitely need to order a new battery because that's the right thing to do. And bits of grease down on the gear change. I want the old plate to come off. That's quick and easy. I've got a carbon fibre thing for here. I've got a carbon fibre thing for here to neaten it up. So bits and pieces. Let's get the oil dropped while it's warm. Let's drop this oil. I have no idea how good or bad it is. I haven't dipped it or anything. Straight on the exhaust, that's what you want. Why wouldn't we want it on the exhaust? Some brake cleaner on the oil here. We'll get that off, but let's fill it up before we go too nuts. It wasn't actually in neutral, that's why it weren't starting. It wasn't in neutral. Okay. I'll give that 2 minutes max to circulate, then let it all cool down, and then we'll check it when it's a bit cooler. What's next? Let me get rid of that. At the moment I'm storing it in a bottle, and then I dispose of the bottle appropriately when it's full. You can take them to your local waste disposal actually. Right. Indicators. Oh, hang on. I wonder if the battery just being so weak is the issue. Possibly.